Can you do it then? Okay, we're ready.
I'm capable of that.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here for this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Before we get started, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance as always, so would everybody please rise? Councilwoman McDonough, could you lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We hope.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence to remember all of the men and women who are fighting for our freedom. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue.
You're welcome.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you for attending this evening's meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Today's date is Wednesday, September 18th, 2019, and at 6 p.m., the Town Board met in executive session with discussion with respect to the retention of special counsel. That was the first item. The second item is interview a prospective vendor for the Town of Carmel Master Plan and Code revisions, which leads me into the next statement. I apologize that we're coming out here late. Normally, the meetings start at 7 p.m., and it's now 7:37. And the reason that we're late is because of the second item on the executive session, interview a prospective vendor for Town of Carmel Master Plan and Code revisions. As you know, the town is going to be undertaking a very comprehensive look and revision to our comprehensive plan, which is also the master plan as you know it. It's 20-plus years old, and it was time that the town of Carmel revisited their master plan and took a look at exactly as to what the community needs now and into the future. So we really need a blueprint of what the town of Carmel, Mahopac, what the public wants, the community wants, feedback from the stakeholders who are all of you with respect of what you want the town to look like and what direction we want it to go in. So this was an important interview that we had with this consulting firm, and they gave a very comprehensive overview of what they're about and what their firm can do for the town of Carmel. And we talked about the master plan, we talked about code revisions, because you have to do both. So when you're reviewing and undertaking a master plan revision and adopting a new one, you also have to parallel look at your town code, zoning codes, and things like that. So it was an important interview, and again, I apologize that we're running late and that we're coming out here now, but we felt that we had to, because it's such an important topic, that we needed to take some time, and we had some very good questions that the board posed to the consultants that were here, and they gave us a very, very good presentation as to why we should select them as the consulting firm that we're going to be retaining for services for the master plan and code revisions. There's two other firms that responded to our RFQ. We'll be interviewing them, one next week and one in the first meeting in October. So we've begun work on this. It started a couple of years ago with Susie McDonough kind of spearheading the whole project, and now it's moving forward. So I'm pleased to tell you that we interviewed the first firm tonight that will be guiding us and assisting us. We can't do it alone. We need professionals helping us with this. So, and we also need feedback from the community. But we'll be getting into that later on as this moves forward. The community involvement.
And we're definitely planning on longer than 30 minutes allocated for the remaining firms that we'll be interviewing. And there will, definitely be a lot of public outreach and a lot of public feedback. So if you have ideas, stand by.
Stand by. We're going to want to hear them.
Definitely.
Okay, so for the record, Councilman Lupinacci is not with us right now, but I believe he got stuck at work. It's a very busy month for him, and he apologizes for not being able to attend the beginning of the meeting, but he's going to try to make it here. So at some point during the meeting, you may see Councilman Lupinacci come in. It's because he's delayed at work, and he apologizes. With us is Ann Spofford. She's our town clerk. All the way down to my right and all the way down to my left is Greg Fulchetti, Carmel Town Council. So the way the agenda is set up tonight is we have a public hearing on amending Chapter 89 of the Town of Carmel Code, which is the freshwater wetlands town code. But before we do that, I'm going to change it up a little bit. We have Tony Scanapico here with us. Tony Scanapico is the commissioner of the Putnam County Board of Elections, and also Kathleen Croft. Kathleen, you're here. She's the commissioner also of the Putnam County Democratic election for the Board of Elections. Tony's the Republican election chairman. They're here for an information update to the residents on early voting. So Kathleen and Tony, if you'd like to come up and give us your update on the early voting, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you for having us here. My name is Kathy Croft. I'm actually the Democratic Commissioner, and Tony, my co-commissioner, as you said, is the Republican Commissioner. This year, as a result of changes up in Albany, the state legislature voted to have early voting. It begins on October 26th and runs through November 3rd. Our only early voting site in Putnam County is going to be at the Board of Elections. If you are registered in any of the towns, you can come and vote there. All of our hours are they're posted on our website as well as the schedule, and we open at 9 o'clock every morning. And sometimes we're open 5 hours, sometimes 8 hours, and sometimes there's 2 days that we're open 11 hours for early voting. Part of the early voting is going to be the introduction of using e-poll books, which we will also be using on Election Day at your poll site. So I'm going to put a voter in here, my usual standby, Wonder Woman. And I'm going to do a search. I'm going to come up with her name, which is what our poll workers will do, and we find that she's already voted. So that's one thing that I wanted to stress with early voting. One of the reasons that we're using the e-poll books is to make sure that we can electronically track everybody in real time. So not only will we know at the poll site, because the e-poll books talk to the other e-poll books that are there at the site, but on our console back at the Board of Elections, we will know in real time who is voting. So if somebody does show up on Election Day and it says that they've already voted, then they'd have to vote by affidavit ballot. And
Has that happened many a times before, that it's a concern, like at our area? I'm wondering, is that something that you guys witness?
oh, we have affidavit ballots issued, but usually,
They were gonna count.
But multiple ballots for the same person? Like,
No.
we don't have
If they
things like
come in
that?
and If they
Okay.
voted on here and they
no,
come
this,
in
this
and
is,
they would-
this is just an example, but
Okay.
no.
Then they would have, they fill out an affidavit.
There's enough
ballot.
speculation out there on what goes on with voter things, so
If
it's
they-
probably better.
If they fill out an affidavit ballot for a number of reasons, we have to check it at the board before we count.
Yeah,
Okay.
if somebody moves within the county, and as long as they're at their poll site where they should be voting, where their new address is, they wouldn't be in the poll book. They'd have to vote by affidavit ballot.
Okay.
Affidavit ballots usually, in the old days, like last year, they weren't counted until a week after the election. This year, they're probably going to be counted a little bit later, but they do the research. Not everybody's affidavit ballot gets counted, but everybody is entitled to vote.
Okay, thank you.
The one thing that we're not gonna have here, because we only have one poll site, is when you have more than one poll site, they can talk to each other at the poll site, so somebody can't come here and vote and then go over to another poll and vote again, because they're picking up immediately.
But they couldn't, because if they're not, it'll have the whole database for the county, but it's poll site specific. So when the election workers get in on Election Day and they open it up, they're going to say Lakeview High School, or school, not high school, and that they're going to, when they look up people, it's only voters that are registered in those districts that are located there. So there's a lot of fail-safes that are built into everything, but I just kind of wanted to point out that just because we have early voting, and I know a lot of people say things about fraud and everything like that, there are rules that are put into place that protect that from happening. And
No, so I just wanted to run through a day, just so I get this right. So for the early voting, they'll go up to
Board of Elections.
the Board of Elections, and they still sign their name to something, or they use that?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
sign it on there.
Yep.
And then do they vote on there too?
No.
No.
No,
Then
what
they-
happens?
Then they go,
Yeah, what happens is they're going to be given a receipt, and then a ballot. For the early voting, we're actually printing ballots on demand.
okay,
and then they're going to be given their ballot. They get to go to their privacy booth, mark their ballot, and put it in the
Same day,
scan.
same day, same visit.
Yep,
Okay.
What happens is
Yep.
when we give them a receipt, they'll go to another table where they print the ballot. They'll give them the receipt, they'll print them a ballot, then they go.
And
Yeah.
then they can go vote, and that's gonna be the same structure on
General election day.
general election day.
On election day.
You're gonna come.
So
in,
everything's gonna be
sign
through
in on
these
there.
systems now, not on that sign-in book that you had to
no,
look at
yeah,
upside
no more
down or anything.
paper poll books.
So you
Okay.
can't vote early and then go in there and you have the old book and you're voting two
Okay.
times?
Th-
Okay.
That's what I was,
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah.
wanted to clarify. Okay, perfect.
Yep,
But we
Thank-
won't be printing the ballots on election day.
yeah, that's just for
Sign in,
early
just
voting.
go to the table and get a ballot, because they'll have the ballots for all of it.
Yeah.
Because each polling place will
Okay.
only have the ballots for the
Similar to what always
Yeah.
happens on election.
Except you don't have to go to your ED. You don't have to go to your specific election district table anymore. You're going to be going in and you're going to sign
Oh,
in.
so,
in.
Yeah.
that's great.
So
'Cause
we're
I've gone
actually-
to the wrong one multiple times.
Oh,
and I
everybody
always get
does.
redirected.
Too, I
Yeah.
do too. They see me coming in like Susie.
So
No, no,
actually,
you're supposed to be over at the high school now. What are you doing?
we're using fewer poll inspectors this year because we don't need as many, because usually we'd always have to have 4 people at every election district.
And I
we
always heard
don't-
from volunteers, it was really hard getting the amount of volunteers
Oh,
needed.
absolutely. Yeah, and it's paid. I mean, people get paid. And in fact, if anybody that's watching this wants to be a poll worker, call the Board of Elections, because we're always seeking.
It will not put you in the next tax bracket, promise.
No.
All right, perfect.
And usually,
Thank you.
we're always looking for Democrats in Carmel
Yeah,
and Republicans
books are
in
gone. Books are
Phillipstown.
gone.
Just using the tablets?
That's it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so if anybody else has any questions.
No, just go to the Board of Election website, and all the early dates are posted,
I-
Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
Yeah.
it's the entire week, basically.
Yeah, and I think,
Only the
these going
Monday
out in the
before election day.
No, no, I don't believe so.
When
Yeah,
it
are
starts-
these being mailed out?
It goes
No.
all the way
These
up
people-
until
no.
no,
because
we're
we
going
gotta get-
around.
Kind of advertising
Okay.
other than this?
Oh,
one?
yeah. Oh, no, we're doing a lot of advertising, and I've also gone around and been putting them in lots of different stores and town halls and libraries. Every place where we have voter registration forms, we've been putting these.
And this is the third
And-
of the 6 counties that we've been to.
And I know you probably don't remember, but back in April, you got your annual mail check card, and that information was printed on the card as well, as far as early voting, so. And I think you have put a link to our website on your website already. Thank you.
Any other questions? Dial 808-1300.
Yes.
808-1300,
Yep.
Perfect, thank you.
not 628-1300.
Nope.
That's a good-
Yeah, exactly.
Have you been getting calls at the Board of Elections?
Oh,
Inquiring
sure.
about this from people?
Yeah.
What do you expect the turnout to be? You think there's going to be quite a few people that are going to?
It's like throwing a big party and
Yeah,
not
you don't
knowing
know.
how many,
Yeah.
not a clue.
It's tough to say, right?
But it looks like it's
Yeah.
daily from Saturday, October 26th, all the way up till the general election at some point
There's
every
one
day
day-
through then.
Till Monday before.
Yeah, it's 2
Okay.
weekends, 5 weekdays, and then we get a day, that Monday, there's no early voting.
Get set up.
And there's a couple late nights if you
Yes.
need, so everything's on the Board of Election link at the
Yeah.
Town of Carmel website.
And people can still fill out an absentee application and apply for an absentee ballot. But the one big difference, when you early vote, your ballot's cast. With an absentee ballot, it has the ability to be challenged because they're not opened until at least a week after the election.
That's how I found out about this, because I was calling for an absentee ballot, because I'm going to be away on that Tuesday. And the recording said it, which is great, but I just wish there was a better way of getting it to everybody.
We've got it on everything that we can put it on.
Yeah.
How many registered voters are there in Putnam County? Have any idea?
Active, around 63,000. Yeah.
Active?
Yeah.
When you say active, you mean like
Well, there's
voting?
also inactive.
But they haven't-
Those are registered active, not
Right.
voting like annually. This is how many you actually see at a voter
No,
turnout.
active is they vote, and then you have inactive is they haven't voted in a number of years, so they go on an inactive list.
But they only go on an inactive list if something red flags them. Let's say there's NCOA comes back and it says, oh, they've moved out of the county, but we still need to get that documented,
Okay.
so.
Seems like a lot more than I
Great.
thought,
Thank
62,000 votes.
The
All
one
right.
thing I want to mention is, if you don't like me,
That's-
is all, 36, 39
Do they
states,
still stand online?
They,
On the speaker, Tony, it's
Yeah,
not gonna-
Tony.
the people at
Tony,
home aren't
you-
going to hear you.
Here.
all the states that have early voting have shown no increase in voters turnout.
Yeah. No, I thought you were going to talk about the iPhone standing online. No, it hasn't shown.
So it's basically, if you're going to vote, it's more for you out of convenience, if
Yes.
you're a voter anyway.
Yeah, no, it hasn't shown an increase in turnout.
That's sad, because that's really something that I know, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I think that's one thing that we take for granted here in this country, is our ability to
Absolutely.
vote, and we
Yeah.
don't have the turnout that I think we should.
Yeah.
And that's why when you said 63,000, I'm thinking, that seems like an astronomical amount of people to turn out for a vote in the county in a
Mm-hmm. And we
year.
have a really, in a presidential year, we have a really good turnout. It's about 83%.
That is a really
Yeah.
good turnout, because nationally, it's much lower than that, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, no. So,
What she thought I was gonna allude to, so I'll do it now, is when we go to conventions, especially New York City, they say, well, you know, people stand online for hours to get to vote, and now they've said that we have to, you know, have, nobody should stand online more than a half hour. And my question always is, you mean the people that stand online for 3 days for an iPhone or a pair of sneakers?
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
okay.
okay.
very true.
Thank
All right,
you.
okay.
Thank you for the
Thanks so much.
information.
All right.
Catherine, thank you. Tony, thanks so much.
All right.
Okay. Does any members of the public have any questions for either Catherine or Tony regarding early voting? If not, we're going to say goodnight to them. Good, okay.
Thanks, guys.
Good night,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Good night. Okay, all right, so now we're going to move on to the public hearing portion of the meeting. This is a public hearing on a proposed local law amending Chapter 89 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel entitled Freshwater Wetlands. At this time, I'd like to ask the town clerk to please read the public notice for the public hearing.
Notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel will hold a public hearing at the Town Hall, 60 McAlpin Avenue, Mahopac, New York, 10541, on Wednesday, September 18, 2019, at 7 o'clock p.m., or soon thereafter that evening as possible, on a proposed local law to amend the Code of the Town of Carmel, Chapter 89 thereof, entitled Freshwater Wetlands, as follows. Proposed local law, if adopted, it would be number 6 of the year 2019, a local law to amend the Code of the Town of Carmel, Chapter 89 thereof, entitled Freshwater Wetlands. Be it enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, County of Putnam, State of New York, as follows.
Section 1, Chapter 89 of the Code of the Town of Carmel, specifically 89-16A and 89-16B only, are as hereby amended as follows. 89-16, Environmental Conservation Board, membership, terms and office, powers. A, the Environmental Conservation Board, heretofore created by the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, exercising its authority pursuant to Section 24-0501, Subdivision 2 of Title 5 of Article 24, the Freshwater Wetlands Act of New York State Environmental Conservation Law, with all the duties and powers herein described, shall consist of 5 members who shall be specifically qualified by reason of education, training, or experience to perform the duties provided for hereunder. B, the members of such Environmental Conservation Board shall be appointed by the Town Board. Members shall be appointed for a term of 5 years from and after the expiration of the terms of their predecessor in office. If a vacancy shall occur otherwise than by the expiration of term, it shall be filled by the Town Board for the unexpired term. The Town Board shall have the power to remove any member for cause. Section 2, Home Rule. Nothing in this local law is intended or shall be construed, A, to limit the home rule authority of the town under state law to limit the town's discretion in setting fees and charges in connection with the applications requiring town approval. Section 3, severability. If any part of this or provision of this local law or the application thereof to any person or circumstance be adjudged invalid by any court of competent jurisdiction, such judgment shall be confined in its operation to the part or provision or application directly involved in the controversy in which judgment shall have been rendered, and shall not affect or impair the validity of the remainder of this local law or the application thereof to other persons or circumstances. And the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby declares that it would have passed this local law or the remainder thereof had such invalid application or invalid provision been apparent. Section 4, effective date. This local law shall take effect immediately upon filing the office of the Secretary of State in accordance with Section 27 of the Municipal Home Rule Law. At said public hearing, all interested persons shall be heard on the subject thereof. The town board will make every effort to ensure that the public hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodations should contact the town clerk by order of the town board of the town of Carmel and Spotsburg Town Clerk.
Okay, thanks, Susie. Thanks,
You're
Ann.
welcome.
All right, I need a motion to, thanks, Ann, to open the public hearing.
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Schneider, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the public hearing is now open with respect to amendments to Chapter 89, freshwater wetlands for the town of Carmel. We have one resident that signed up. If any others would like to speak, you're going to have to raise your hand and I'll call you up. But the resident that signed up is Edward Barnett. Ed? Oh, okay, it's not for the public hearing? Okay. Is there anyone here for the public hearing that would like to come up and speak for amending Chapter 89 of the wetlands? Going once, going twice? No one? Okay, being there's no public comment on the amendment to Chapter 89, I need a motion to close.
Second.
So moved by Councilman Schneider, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, so, on your agenda, PH number 1A is to consider a resolution determining secret review. Councilman Schneider, would you read PH 1A, please?
This resolution making secret determination in regard to the proposed local code number 6 of the year 2019, enacting Chapter 89 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby determines that local law number 6, amending Chapter 89 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel, entitled Freshwater Wetlands, as a Type 2 action under seeker, and NYCRR Section 61.5C27, and no further review is necessary. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Schneider, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. And next on the agenda, PH number 1B, is to consider a motion to enact the law. Do I have a motion to enact the law?
So moved. Seconded.
Okay.
Can you just move to enact it as noticed and published? You don't mind?
Ditto what Greg said.
enact-
Just adopt that motion.
Susie's making a motion to enact it as noticed and published.
We've been doing this for a long time, and we still don't know how to. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
no, I just keep on saying ditto.
Councilman
Yes.
Schneider, you're seconding that?
Yes.
Okay, seconded by
Second by
Councilman
ditto.
Schneider.
Yes.
Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried, thank you. Okay, that completes the public hearing portion of the meeting. Now I need a motion to open the town board voting meeting.
Close the public hearing?
Oh, so moved.
Motion.
Close it before you vote.
All done. Okay.
That's done, yeah.
I think we
So
closed
just-
it.
Like the whole procedure thing, I'm just forgetting today.
Okay.
Following your lead, yes, second.
ahead.
I make a motion.
All right, all those in favor? To open the
Aye.
voting meeting, aye. Okay, the voting meeting's now open. We have 11 items on the voting meeting agenda tonight. And I'm going to be reading, since Councilman Lupinacci hasn't gotten here yet, and I'll just read along with the other town board members. So the first resolution tonight, number 1, is a resolution waiving the notice of requirement in the New York State ABC law, which is also known as the Alcoholic Beverage Control Law, with respect to a liquor license for the Gathering Inn, this on Route 6 in Mahopac. Councilman Schneider, would you read 1, please?
Whereas the representatives and/or proprietors of the Gathering Inn, Inc., 925 Route 6, Mahopac, New York, 10541, have advised of the intention to apply for an on-premise liquor license, for which 30 days advance notice of such application must be sent to the municipality. And whereas the notice required by Article 5 of the Alcohol Beverage Control Law must be waived by the town board. And whereas the town board of the town of Carmel does not intend to comment upon the application referred to herein. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby waives the 30-day notice requirement contained in Article 5 of the Alcohol and Beverage Control Law, and states that it does not intend to offer any comment regarding said application for a liquor license at the premise referred to herein. And be it further resolved, the town clerk, Ann Spofford, is hereby authorized to sign a waiver of said notice on behalf of the town of Carmel. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes. Motion carried. If you're wondering where the Gathering Inn is located, it's the old Patrick's Pub, which is the former Clatter, and I think the Parting Glass at one time too, right?
Front
Yeah.
row?
The front row, going back to front row, yeah.
That's when I was playing darts there. That's
Chris, we
getting
remember
that
the
old
front
now.
row, right? Yeah. All right, okay, so, resolution number 2 is a resolution waiving the notice requirement, New York State ABC law, with respect to license for Bella Restaurant and Bar Incorporated, DBA Bella Restaurant and Bar. This is the former Nick's Plate on Clark Place. It's gonna be the Bella Restaurant. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read this, please?
Sure, whereas the representatives and/or proprietors of Bella Restaurant and Bar, Inc., DBA Bella Restaurant and Bar, 18 Clark Place, Mahopac, New York, 10541, has advised the intention to apply for an on-premises liquor license for which 30 days advance notice of such application must be sent to the municipality. And whereas the notice required by Article 5 of the Alcohol Beverage Control Law may be waived by the town board. And whereas the Town of Carmel Town Board does not intend to comment upon the application referred to herein. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby waives the 30-day notice requirement contained in Article 5 of the Alcoholic and Beverage Control Law and states that it does not intend to offer any comments regarding said application for a liquor license at the premises referred to herein. And be it further resolved, the town clerk, Ann Spotford, is hereby authorized to sign a waiver of said notice on behalf of the town of Carmel. I offer this resolution as read.
Okay, I'll second it. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried, thank you. Okay, resolution 3 is a resolution making an appointment to the Town of Carmel Lake Mahopac Park District Advisory Board. Resolved. Amber Alert. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Deer Park?
Yeah, Deer Park.
No. All right, resolution 3 is resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby appoints C. Compton Spain to the town of Carmel Lake Mahopac Park District Advisory Board in place instead of advisory board member Edward A. Barnett for a term commencing immediately and expiring December 31st, 2019. I offer the resolution as read.
Oh, second.
I need a second.
Oh, second, sorry.
I didn't even, I'm sorry.
All right, so I offered it. Councilwoman McDonough seconded it. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, resolution number 4 is a resolution authorizing acceptance of proposal for the purchase of police uniforms. Councilman Borelli, would you read 4, please?
Resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Chief of Police Michael Kazari, hereby accepts the proposal of Rescue Stuff, Inc., Peekskill, New York, for the purchase of police uniforms at the unit cost contained within the memorandum and attached dated September 5th, 2019. And be it further resolved that the town board hereby waives the applicability of its adopted procurement policy with respect to the authorization, and be it further resolved that this authorization shall be deemed effective immediately and shall be for the remainder of the 2019 calendar year. Be it further resolved that any contract with the existing vendor for said goods is hereby terminated, effective immediately. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution number 5 is a resolution authorizing extension of a contract for the town hall cleaning services. It's contract C-249. Councilman Schneider, would you read 5, please?
Resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of town engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., authorizes the extension of the existing contract for town hall cleaning services with CTE Incorporated, DBA Reliable Cleaning Systems, for a period of 2 years commencing January 1st, 2020, and concluding December 31st, 2021, at annual cost of $40,589.50 and $41,763.50 respectively. And be it further resolved that upon presentation of insurance and bonds in form acceptable to Town Council, Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to sign any documentation necessary to effectuate said contract extension renewal on the terms authorized herein on behalf of the Town of Carmel. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried.
If I could just interrupt for a
Sure,
second.
yeah.
In regards to this, I'm glad to see that we are in a process of being proactive and we're renewing contracts before they expire. It's something that we haven't done for a while, and we have really good communication from our department heads in order to keep on top of every contract, stay on top of our bidding, our quotes, and sticking in within our procurement policies. So it's been a team effort, and it's nice to see us being ahead of the curve here, instead of everything being retroactive.
Remember, we started that spreadsheet, so it's all in
And a
one
lot of it has to
spot.
do with Ann
Yes.
Spofford, so thank you
Yes.
for that.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep,
And you too, Annie. Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot from Ann Spofford. Thank you.
yeah.
We appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Jonathan. Okay, next resolution, number 6, is a resolution authorizing acceptance and selection of a proposed roof repair, alternate Carmel Sewer District Number 2 sand filter water treatment plant roof replacement. Councilwoman
I
McDonough,
just read it. Yep.
read number 6, please.
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Sewer District Number 2, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby authorizes and selects construction alternate option number 3 as contained in the memorandum of Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., dated August 30th, 2019, as well as within the memorandum of Delaware Engineering dated August 22nd, 2019, at an estimated construction cost of $248,900. I offer this resolution as read.
Seconded.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Borelli and Councilman Schneider. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. This roof is in dire need of replacement and repair, so that's why we're moving forward with this. This is up in the hamlet of Carmel. It's off of Old Route 6, and it's part of the Sewer District Number 2, and as they stated, the sand filter water treatment plant roof. So this roof is extremely important that we make the repairs to it and seal that building up prior to the start of the fall season. So that's why we're moving forward with this pretty quickly. Okay, next, resolution number 7 is a resolution authorizing acceptance of proposal for the contracting services Carmel Water Districts Number 1, 8, 10, 13 water treatment plant roof replacement. And I'll read that one. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Water Districts 1, 8, 10, and 13, hereby authorizes acceptance of proposal for the roof replacement services to be performed by Certified Contracting Services, Inc., of Mahopac, New York, at the water treatment plant for the above water districts at a cost not to exceed $9,200, and in accordance with the proposal dated July 30th, 2019. And be it further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates and any necessary bonds in form acceptable to Town Council, Town Supervisor Ken Schmidt is hereby authorized to sign any and all necessary documentation required to accept said proposal on the terms authorized herein. And be it further resolved that Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any budget transfers or modifications necessary in conjunction with this authorization and to allocate the cost of said project proportionally among the referenced water districts. So 4 water districts, including my own, are going to be paying for the roof replacement of the water district building that's right down here on Route 6, adjacent to Maple Grove Farm Market. I offer the resolution as read.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Next, resolution number 8 is a resolution authorizing payment for repairs for a leaky hydrant in Carmel Water District Number 2. Councilman Borelli, would you read number 8?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of various water and sewer districts of the Town of Carmel, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, hereby authorizes the following payments for repairs performed within the referenced districts: Ed Cook Excavating, leaking hydrant, Carmel Water District 2, invoice dated August 22nd, amount $7,127.26. Be it further resolved, the Town Controller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget revisions to effect payment for the aforesaid repair authorizations. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 9, is a resolution authorizing attendance at a seminar for town engineer, stormwater conference. The date is 10/16/2019. Jonathan, can you read this one?
And this
All
is
right.
number 9.
Number 9, yep.
Resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby authorizes town of Carmel town engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., to attend the 2019 Southeast New York Stormwater Conference being held on October 16, 2019 in Beacon, New York. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel authorizes payment of reasonable and necessary expenses incurred in connection therewith. Upon audit, I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
I said 10/29. Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution is resolution number 10. This is a resolution accepting a proposal for online dog portal and licensing software and authorizing entry into a payment processing agreement. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 10, please?
Yes. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Town Clerk Ann Spotford, hereby accepts the proposal of Business Automation Services, Inc., Clifton Park, New York, for online dog licensing software at a first-year cost not to exceed $800 and at an annual cost not to exceed $300 thereafter for maintenance, support, and processing services. And be further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates in form as approved by the Town Council, the supervisor is authorized to sign the reference proposal in form as in on file in the office of the Town Clerk. I offer this resolution as read.
Seconded.
Seconded by Councilman Schneider. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you.
Will this be a big time saver for you, having this portal system?
It will be a time saver for us, but more of a convenience for the residents. And
Instead of
just- yeah,
spending a day and a half to try to give you a $9 check?
Exactly, and I
Okay.
just want to point out, it's only for dog renewals, not for new licensing. And if the rabies vaccination is up, then the resident would have to come in anyway, so.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a help.
It's a start.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay, number 11 is refunding a bond resolution authorizing the issuance of pursuant to Section 90 and/or Section 90.10 of the local finance law of refunding bonds of the town of Carmel, Putnam County, New York, to be designated substantially public improvement refunding serial bonds and providing for other matters in relation thereto, and for the payment of the bonds to be refunded thereby. What this is, we're refunding bonds, we're refinancing them, and there's going to be a savings to the town because of this refunding of the bonds for $121,000. So this is good that we're doing this, and Public Finance, who is our financial consultants, they and Mary Ann Maxwell, the town controller, worked on this, and to their credit, they've recommended to the town board to refund these bonds and save about $121,000 over the course of the debt service for the bonds. So this is good that we're saving this type of money just through refinancing and refunding.
Everything at the town was looked at for bonds, but the super majority of these savings are going to one water district, I believe.
3 water districts. 3 water districts and the highway bonds.
And the highway, so the highway covers everybody in the town,
Yeah.
but the biggest benefactor of this is going to be those water districts.
Those water districts.
So it was just basically looking at what the economic environment is right now with prevailing interest rates. It made more money to refinance the bonds, save a ton in the long run over what we had from bonds that were issued years ago, and it saves the taxpayers money in the long run, paying less to the banks. So it's definitely a smart move, and everything was looked at, but really don't expect to see a change in your tax bill. But we are doing everything that we can to keep taxes at bay.
We are, absolutely. All right, so this is a lengthy resolution, so I'm gonna paraphrase it because I'm sure everybody doesn't want to hear 10 pages of me reading this, and by the end of it, I'm not gonna be able to talk. So I'm gonna paraphrase it. This is to authorize issuance of a maximum of $1.6 million in bonds, and the funding is for Highway, Carmel Water District 13, Carmel Water District number 2, and Carmel Water District number 9. The savings overall in debt service is approximately, as I stated, $121,000. So I'm going to offer this as paraphrased and pre-filed with the town clerk. I offer the resolution and the paraphrase as read. Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. I'd like to thank our Comptroller, Mary Ann Maxwell, and Public Finance for working on this. We're looking at our debt service to see if there's any savings in refunding of these bonds, and there absolutely was. It's a tremendous savings, and we're going to be doing this. We're going to be reviewing our bonds and our debt service on a regular basis to see if there's any further savings that may be found, so.
Yeah,
to their
and I think
credit,
after today's announcement with the decrease in the Fed fund
Yeah.
rate and the intention to do it again, then
Yeah.
annually at least to be looking at that. And if they're going to look at it complimentary for a service to review all of our outstanding
Mm-hmm.
bans and bonds, it's kind of a no-brainer to
Yeah.
borrow for less money.
Yeah,
As long as we're not extending out terms and redoing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we can legally, Greg, because of infrastructure use life, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's not that we're refinancing like a mortgage and saying we're going to start the whole thing over, so don't worry about it going out 30 years again.
Just taking advantage of the rates.
That's all.
Okay, all right, great. And I'm going to have an announcement that I'm going to read here very shortly. It's related to bonds and bans and refinancing and things like that, and borrowing of money for capital projects. It's really good news for the town of Carmel, and I'm going to get to that in a couple of minutes. Okay, so that completes the agenda items for this evening's town board voting meeting. If there's any members of the public that would like to come up and address the board on any of the agenda items that we covered this evening, come on up to the podium at this time. I just need you to state your name and make your comment or question. Anybody want to come up? Come on up at this time. Agenda items only. No? Okay, we're going to move on if there's none. All right, we're going to move on. You good?
Good evening.
your name?
Norman
Okay.
Marino. Norman Marino. Is this the new television system?
It is.
Oh, I looked at a meeting just the other night. It looked terrible, like the old system. It was $190,000 less. Okay. At any rate, this bond company, is Dan Birmingham a member of that company?
No.
You sure?
No, he's not. He's not. Doug Goodfriend
I'm just
is,
asking.
Doug Goodfriend is he's the bond counsel for the town of Carmel, and Dan Birmingham is not part of his firm.
Okay. Because once I was told it's Dan's firm, you know, when I was here.
He is with a firm, but
Oh,
not,
but he is with the
not
firm.
with this firm. He is bond counsel with another firm, not this particular
Do
firm.
we have insurance with
We
that?
don't. We do not.
Excuse me.
Okay. All right, that was it.
Okay, thank you, Norman. Anyone else? Okay, we're going to move on to the new business open forum portion of the meeting. And is anybody here for new business? You have to be a town resident, you have to be a taxpayer of the town of Carmel, or a business owner in the town of Carmel to speak at the new business portion of the meeting, and it's for a 3-minute comment. Thank you. Jean?
Hi, everybody. Jean Hopper, Mahopac. I'm here tonight because I wanted to address the sewer and septic issues that we're reading about on Blue, the restaurant in 6N. So we've heard conflicting stories, and we wanted to get some answers. You know, it's become a divisive issue in town here, and I see comments on Facebook, so I think it's best to get some answers, give people reassurance that the rules and regulations are enforced for every one of our citizens. So I want to understand a few things. Back in 1990, the then town board, back then, passed a resolution, right, allowing them to install a sewer line to connect to Carmel Sewer District 1. And there were contingencies on that, obviously, that resolution, that approvals and permits had to be passed, right? On that resolution, am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And were those approvals met back then, initially, or no?
Jeannie, let me just make this statement, that the board is in the process of interviewing outside legal counsel to assist the board and advise the board with respect to this whole matter. So we've been advised not to comment further on this because we have not spoken to counsel yet. We've begun the process. We're reaching out to firms that we believe might be able to represent the town in this matter. And until such time that we've had an opportunity to speak with counsel, we're not going to further comment on this.
Okay, so we have no answer to some of the questions.
I mean, I would give a comment, but it's very, like you said, newspapers have conflicting information that's in there. In fact,
Right.
things are changing literally hourly in regards to what the story is. What Councilman Borelli says, he answers every question that's out there. So he's said he's going to be like an open book, and if we're going to be able to gather the information, I'm hoping it could be very simple. It's going to just be fact-based, get all the information together, and make sure that there's transparency, that there wasn't anything that was done incorrectly, because the accusations that are out there don't help the town at all if they're not founded. And I'm a firm believer
Absolutely.
in innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
And he says he has everything. I'm going to give the gentleman the benefit of the doubt, and if his attorney is going to produce it, then that's spectacular. We can put everything to bed. We don't need an hour and a half of being here on an open meeting tonight.
Right.
It doesn't benefit the town at all to continue these discussions until we know more information, and I think that's really the key. And we all want to work together to make the town better. So if everything Mr. Borelli says is correct and everything he has is correct, then to me, it's not even a question. Things are good to go, and we can move on. We just got to get the info, and that's what we're working on.
Right.
But I personally have spoken to a legal firm. I have a couple others lined up that I was going to talk to, and just consulting to see what a recommendation is. And a big thing is just data gathering. So
Right.
that's the phase that we're at right now to try to keep costs down, but we want to make sure that we're doing it right, because transparency to the public is extremely important when there are allegations
Absolutely.
like this that are being made.
Right.
But again, we're in America. We should live by that belief of innocent until proven guilty. And everything he says, if it plays out, then my thought is get him hooked up on the sewer and protect everything that we have with the lake. But we're going to see what we have. And I hope we just leave it at that. And I'm probably going to be told by attorneys multiple
Yeah,
times,
just
like, you should never say
just-
anything, John, never say anything, but
Yeah.
you guys have known me long enough.
Yeah. I think Greg's like.
Sorry. I digress. Go on. You were saying?
Well, I think it's important that the town board share their reassurances with the town residents
As
that
we get
you will
information.
be on a fact-finding mission, getting the truth out there and sharing that and moving forward quickly and, with accountability and transparency. And I think that's the most that the people want. It's unfortunate, I know that, I believe, you're represented by outside counsel, and that unfortunately will be borne the price, the cost of that by the taxpayers, and that's unfortunate. So I would like that to, like you said, as expeditiously as possible.
But still thoroughly to ensure the public that there is the
Absolutely.
transparency, fact-finding, and the right thing is being done.
And you'll share that with the public how? Via
My goal would be
updates?
that it could be at a meeting. I mean, but my goal is that there's going to be enough information out there that everybody says, put it out there. And Mike can say, here's what everything is, and here's what we have, and here's where it was. And I don't know, Mike, if you agree with me, but my thought is just everything that is out there is yeah, exactly.
Is what?
He's got a lot of information that is information that we haven't been privy to yet.
Right.
And if it plays out exactly as he says, then to me, it's not a question that I'm concerned with in regards to what he's saying that he has the communications to do.
Okay. So you have a pile of paper there. I'm curious, would you want to answer any questions to clear the air and to
Wait
get
till
the...
everybody finishes.
I'm sorry?
I believe I have something to say.
I didn't hear that, I'm sorry.
Yes, I have something to say, but I want to see what everybody else has to say.
Okay. Well, then could I ask
And
you...
anybody that's not a Democrat running for this council, any public officials or private
Well,
citizens.
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I am a candidate for Carmel Town Board. you know, and it's interesting you bring that up because I've been coming to these meetings even before I was a candidate. And the reason I was coming to these meetings was to represent people's voices and to ask questions and to voice
I encouraged you
concerns.
to come, and I encouraged you to run.
I'm sorry?
I encouraged you to come, and I encouraged you to run.
Well, I don't know if you encouraged me to run, but maybe you did, and I respect that and I appreciate that, Mike. I think anybody that has their best interests at heart, and you mentioned Democrats, and yeah, I have two opponents, and they're not here, you know, either because they're not interested or they don't care. Otherwise, they'd be doing the exact same thing that I am doing. All right, guys, so you'll get back to us in a timely manner with information on this
We
so
will.
it doesn't stew and Facebook and the divisiveness of the town. There's a lot of things we have to focus on because these are serious issues, you know, and it would be nice to make sure our town board is doing their fiduciary duty to represent everybody in the town, hold the rules and regulations up to code. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Jen?
Hi, Jennifer Marr, Town of Carmel. Is videotaping allowed? Because I have been victim of people taking pieces of videotaping and putting it all over Facebook and chopping it up and doing that kind of stuff. So it is allowed?
It is.
It's allowed. It's just, it's a shame that we
But
know
it's
his style of
videotaped in its
chopping it.
entirety. It's out of context when somebody videotapes the portions and
You're right.
shows the portions that they choose to. And
Well,
that's a
Jen,
shame, because
that's part of the-
sensationalism should not really have anything to do with town business.
No, well, that's part of all the articles too, but it'll come out fairly soon.
Norman?
Yeah, on the same subject. I guess it's the Restaurant Blue. You could answer this the best
Norman,
if you like to
talk
answer it.
closer into the microphone, because
Oh,
our
this is-
expensive
this
system
is
doesn't
the
work that
cheap
well.
or the new mic? Which mic is this? The new one that we just bought for 190,000? Hello? Oh, there we go.
It works now.
It's disgusting. They spent 190,000 of your tax dollars, and this man says, we're doing everything to lower your taxes
Norman?
in our
Norman,
power.
Norman,
Okay.
Norman, they know what you
Yes?
look like.
How do you know they know what I look like?
People know what you look like.
How do you know?
Address
You
the
know,
board.
Guys,
How do
listen
you
to
know
me.
what they
Guys,
look like?
excuse me.
I said the people know what you
I'm
look
going
like.
to ask you a question. You could answer it if you like. You don't have to.
Address the
okay?
board.
I'm addressing you.
Go
You're
ahead.
on the
Everyone
board?
here, we dress the
You're
board.
on the board? Okay. Unfortunately, you're on the board. Have you been paying tax bills to the sewer district since 1993?
I've been paying the three people in this room, myself, my family, and my partner, pay over $500,000 in taxes every year to this town.
Okay. How about the restaurant? Have you paid the sewer bill for that restaurant?
No,
Since
I started
1993.
last week.
Last week?
Right.
Okay. Excuse me. Now I'll talk to the rest of the board. There's such an item, Kenny, you were a police officer, you were a sergeant actually in this town. There's an item called theft of services. Section 165.15, Section 5, that deals with getting sewer services without paying for them. Now, from what I understand, maybe I'm wrong, but we're here to clear it up. Since 1993, the restaurant's been hooked up to a sewer, and the town hasn't gotten its money. Under the penal law, 165.15-5, that's theft of services, and a Class A misdemeanor. Did you know that, Kenny?
I know what theft of services is, sure I do.
Okay, so
But-
why, if the town isn't getting paid, if somebody hooks up to the sewer, anybody, not just them, anybody hooks up to the sewer and they're not paying, that's theft of services, isn't it?
Okay. First of all, the force main that you're talking about, that services the Blue Restaurant, hasn't been hooked up since 1993, or 1991 for that matter.
Well, I have some people around town to tell me
And
it
I-
has,
and I-
but
and
go
I-
ahead.
That's the problem, Norman.
That is absolutely the
Okay,
problem.
say he was hooked up last week
can't-
and he didn't pay.
It's the same people that, similar to you, that come up here and tell the
Really?
public.
When
every
did
day
you hook it up,
that you
Mike?
paid for the cameras.
When
Okay.
did you hook it up?
Can I just say something? I'm going to reiterate with
Oh,
with
yeah, Mike,
council.
when did you hook it up?
Got-
Just
you,
say it.
Norman.
You're not worthy of an
please,
answer.
Oh,
please.
I'm not worthy. I sat there and I didn't
Norman.
spend a nickel. We didn't have tax increase for 10 years.
Okay.
You sit
Norm-
there, you spent
Norman.
$190,000 on this
Norman,
camera.
Norman, I'm going to make a statement right now, okay?
I know you think if you did
No, no,
this,
no,
you did
no,
that. I
Norman,
read the
please.
statement. Go ahead.
Okay? Councilman Schneider mentioned it, okay? We will all get answers. We are not going to answer
That's
them
nothing to do
tonight.
with paying your taxes.
We are not going to answer them tonight. We're going to get things. As he said, proven until innocent until proven
He's
guilty.
not arrested,
And this
so there's
is
no
not,
proven till innocent.
and this is not going to be a question and answer thing. This is a
Of
comment
course not.
period.
They will not answer your
Norman,
questions.
you're right.
I'm Norman Marino, in case you don't know me in face, like he said.
All right, Kenny,
Well,
this
Norm-
is not.
Norm,
You could also
Let's-
write in my
Norman.
name if you want.
Norman.
The election.
Norman, that we're not, Norman, there's not going to be Norman, look.
You-
look-
Partners.
Norman,
Anybody that
look
comes
at us,
up is
Norman,
going to
you
address
have to
the
address the
board.
board, not the audience, not the
You
public.
addressed me, I didn't address you.
But you're at
He
the
wants to
pub-
put an end to me.
Norman, please. This
I
is
wonder
a,
what threat that is.
Norman,
He wants to put
this
an
is a
end to me.
public meeting, and I'm chairing the public
Well, I
meeting.
feel like I've just
Norman,
been threatened by that
could
man.
you
He
listen
wants
to
to
me?
put an end to me.
Just listen to me.
You've been threatened
All
by
right?
the man in the wheelchair, Norman?
Yeah, could
Finish
be.
your point. Finish your
Could
point,
be.
sit down. Finish your point and
Norm-
sit down. If the man in the wheelchair, you feel threatened
Oh,
by.
I'm threatened.
Norman, listen to me. We're not going to be deposing anybody tonight. We're not cross-examining anybody.
I'm not saying
So
that.
you
I
shouldn't
asked
be.
you
So
about, do you
please
know what
make.
theft of services is?
I know exactly what it is.
Okay.
First of all, that
That's
hasn't-
enough, as long as you know.
I do.
Just move on.
Okay, is there anyone else here that would like to, this is the open forum, new business portion of the meeting. When you come up, address the board. Don't look back at the audience. You're up here to make a statement or a comment to the town board. Is there anyone else here that would like to do that? Okay, there being none, we're going to close this portion of the
I
meeting.
want to say
Mike, you
something.
want to say something? Okay.
Better believe I want to say something. I love this job. Yes, there is something wrong with me. But I won't respond to anything in the, I think it's called the Journal News, written by Dr. Seuss. There was only two things I want to put in there, and it's always personal with the person that I showed on the video is an absolute raging lunatic. In the first ad he wrote, something very simple. I have the largest parcel on the lake. What that has to do with anything is beyond me, and it's wrong. That's the first article. The article that came out today, yesterday, and I'm going to read this from the Putnam County, official Putnam County website. A retraction request was made on September 18th to clarify certain misrepresentations. Communication was sent to David Wilson and 3 separate editors last evening from the Putnam County Attorney, explaining that your newspaper has misrepresented certain facts. Then I'll turn to the end. Despite the foregoing, however, and despite having had this information at the time that your newspaper apparently went to print, Mr. Wilson, also known as Dr. Seuss to me, led with a headline on page 1 that he understood at the time was wrong, would therefore request, and they're asking for a retraction and to print it correctly. Don't hold your breath. That's all I want to say about the Journal News. That's his next expose will be to destroy the joy the town has on Swan Cove, because Mr. Wilson and his associates, who are well known here, but all of a sudden retired from public life, and we all know who I'm talking about, have gone around town telling people that have volunteered that they're going to get in trouble because it wasn't done correctly, and dangerous things were buried while we did it Monday through Friday in broad daylight. Now, none of that gets me mad. When I took this job, I knew this stuff was coming. I didn't think it was relentless as this madman does it, but it happens. He obviously has a love for me. I want to thank, there's two things. I got hundreds of texts and hundreds of phone calls saying, you know, don't quit, do this, do that, keep going, don't let him bother you, don't let him bother you. One person bothered me. And I don't think he's even in the audience because I don't know what he looks like. The head of the Democratic Party or committee or whatever he calls himself, what's the name, Kenny?
Scott Reed.
Scott Reed, if I pronounced it correctly. I don't know if he's mentally all there or what, but I'm 66 years old. I've lived in this community with my family and my partners for almost 50 years. My history speaks for itself. 2 weeks ago, I didn't want the praise that Kenny gave me last week. I did not want it. But he acknowledged the $8,000 that my partner and my daughter and I spent in Swan Cove, besides our equipment and our people. And if I got to remind anybody, I'm not getting any money for sitting here. I donate all my money. Here's my son-in-law right there, just asked me for a check for $5,000 for a scoreboard for something I have no idea what it's for. Every penny is as quick as he asks me every week, how much is in the bank, how much is in the bank? So him and Greg Elner can spend it. What's his name again?
Scott Reed.
Scott.
Reed. Reed.
From the bottom of my heart, to compare me to a $100 pocket thief for a $670 bill, you can kiss it where the sun don't shine. That's all I have to say.
Can I make a motion to go to executive session for a personnel matter? Unless we want to have further comment and discussion.
No, I have some
Oh,
announcements.
some announcements?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
announcement.
Again, my procedural thing is all off.
It's all off.
Allergies,
Your
3 days. I've been
You're
out
out
of
of it a
it.
little bit tonight, Jonathan.
Your allergies.
Oh, yeah.
It's your allergy.
My apologies to everybody out there.
Okay, all right.
I just
So-
have two, so just let me
You-
know.
you
if
go-
want-
you
you
go
want me to go
first.
first? Because I know you like, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to read what Lynn sent me.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so please join us at the Mahopac High School Athletic Department, along with our community, honor our first responders, active military members, and veterans at the varsity football game at Mahopac High School on October 4th. The ceremony is to begin at 6:30 p.m. and the game is at 7 p.m. So again, on October 4th, please, we're going to honor the first responders, the military members, and the veterans at the Mahopac High School football game. And I think that this is such a wonderful tribute. And I think that day that they're also going to be retiring that gentleman's jersey, if I'm not mistaken, he was
The Coast
in-
Guardsman.
The Coast Guard, who
Coast-
unfortunately
Passed away.
passed away. And then also, on a veterans note, I am going to be having the Veterans Thanksgiving Day dinner again this year, and we're going to have our only volunteer meeting this Monday, September 23rd at 6 p.m. It's going to be here. You can give me a call, 914, what is my number? 914-403-8463. But I am looking for volunteers to help during the day. The date is Saturday, I think it's November 16th, and there'll be 2 seatings. We usually serve about 500 veterans and a guest. It's a really wonderful event, so if anybody wants to come and help volunteer, just let
Jonathan,
us
can
know.
you read that one,
Sure.
Jonathan?
Yeah, for that event, myself and my daughter have volunteered a few
Yeah.
times, and we were sad to not have it last year, but if you have an opportunity, the appreciation that the veterans show for just going out there and serving them a little bit, it's really cool. It's a great community event. Thank you for putting it on again, and I know we'll be out there to volunteer for sure.
Okay.
All right. Oh, yeah, every time.
Susie, can you do this one?
Yes, of course.
You want me to go first? You go
Oh,
first, ladies first?
Oh, you didn't? Okay, you go first, Jonathan.
No, I'm not going to skip over the Lake Mapac Garden Club presenting Over the Rainbow Tea Party, which sounds like a great time. Join us.
Do one of these?
for teas, Savoy sandwiches, and sweets. Music is going to be provided by the Westchester Putnam Youth Quartet. Saturday, October 12th at noon, dress colorfully, bring a friend, all are welcome, $30 admission, advance tickets preferred. It's going to be at the Mahopac Public Library, 3rd floor. It's always a great venue for any of these events, and that sounds like it'll be a real nice time. I think my wife and daughter are going to be going there, maybe my mother-in-law too.
Yeah, I went with Mrs. Marini one day. Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Fabulous event if you guys can make it.
I'm sorry, again, that's on the 12th of October at noon at Mahopac Public Library. Look up Lake Mahopac Garden Club. Check out the library.
And Assemblyman Kevin Byrne is having Shed the Meds program for unused or expired medications. It's going to be here in the Town Hall lobby on Saturday, the 21st, which is this Saturday, from 9 a.m. to 12. If left in a original container, please remove all personal information. Liquid medication is not accepted, and intravenous solutions, injectable, and syringes are also not accepted. Again, this Saturday from 9 to 12, here at Town Hall, Assemblyman Kevin Burns, Shed the Meds program.
Okay, thanks, Sue.
You're welcome.
Okay, we are doing, in the town of Carmel, we're hosting a Shred It Day event. It's a Shred Your Document Day. So the date is Saturday, October 12th, 2019. It's at the Michael Geary Inline Memorial Rink across from the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department. So we're hosting this for the town of Carmel residents and Mahopac residents only. It's a maximum allowance of 3 boxes per vehicle, so bring 3 boxes of your private documents or whatever you're looking to shred to the Shred It Day event, and you can actually watch your documents going through the shredder. There's a video camera that's on the documents, and there's a monitor outside the truck, so if you're interested and you want to make sure that your documents were shredded and destroyed, you can watch them go through the conveyor. Don't worry about removing staples, paper clips, even file folders with metal strips. You can witness your entire shred process, as I stated. No plastic, CDs, DVDs, X-rays, hard drives, 3-ring binders, binder clips, paper only. And Town of Carmel residents must provide proof of residency. For more information, please visit our website, www.carmel.ny.org. You can call my office at 628-1500 and ask for the supervisor's office. So remember this, put this on your calendar for October 12th. It's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Shred It Day event, Geary Rink across from the fire department.
I've done those events through my office. I've done those events through my office before, and it's open to the public when we would do it. It was amazing to see people who have never shredded before come with boxes, and they can literally watch it get loaded up. They watch the camera. Within 5 minutes, you have 40 years of files shredded right in front of your eyes. So if you have the opportunity to take advantage of it, it is something that is spectacular, and you're not being charged for it.
And then go over to the tea.
And then go get some tea. There you go.
And
So
John, you can't
perfect.
clear your office out of all your files. It's 3 boxes.
You know, no, I
It's
have
3
them come to
boxes
my
per
office
vehicle.
monthly, and during tax season, it's every week, so no
I know
worries.
you like the events, but
1 employee,
So-
2 employee.
that doesn't mean you can't bring 2 or 3
I
cars.
was actually going to put this word, can I do this? Can I put this word out to at least everyone who's on
Yeah.
my email list that's
Yes.
a Carmel resident?
Do that, please.
Okay.
All right. So this is some sad news. After nearly 200 years, the Lake Mahopac United Methodist Church is closing. They're closing their doors. It's the church over here on Route 6 opposite CVS by East Lake Boulevard. And this is a letter from the church parish relations chair. I'm just going to read this. It is really sad because I remember that church going back many, many years, and it's sad that it's closing. Dear brothers and sisters in Christ, we're grateful for, I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble for that, saying Christ at a town board meeting, but whatever. We're grateful for the part you have played in each of our lives in ministry with Christ. You were invited to a special celebration of life and decommissioning service of the Lake Mahopac United Methodist Church on Saturday, September 21st at 11 a.m. So Saturday, September 21st, this Saturday at 11 a.m. in our beloved sanctuary. We will celebrate what we have done, where we have been, and with sorrow close our doors, trusting that God has other plans for our building. There will be a time during the services to share your stories and moments of the church. We will have a luncheon following the service and hope that you will be able to join us for these events and worship and fellowship. Again, for nearly 200 years, our church has faithfully served this community and the world through fellowship and mission of Christ, where loving kindness and grace God has always laid plans for our congregation and the community. He has asked and planted new seeds. We are reminded that our faith is always rewarded, and our family, this body of Christ, will continue to follow God's lead in new ways. RSVP as soon as possible, Lake Mahopac United Methodist Church at gmail.com or via cooperative phone 845-279-7611. Let us know if you'll be joining us. We look forward to sharing special time with you. Heidi Federline Kesper, Pastor, Parish Relations Chair. So it's sad that that's going to be closing. It's unfortunate. It's due to its parishioners. Yeah, it's due to their parishioner enrollment is way, way down from what it used to be, so it just doesn't make sense anymore to have church services there. I don't know what they're going to be doing with the building yet. That hasn't been determined, but I'm sure they'll be doing something with it going forward, because they're not going to be able to keep it and operate it as is. So, bless you, Susie.
Thank you.
I have one more announcement. This is really, really good news. As I stated earlier, I wanted to make a statement about this. Moody's Investor Services, you all know what Moody's does. They rate towns, municipalities, and they assign you a rating number. The town of Carmel has, for many, many years, been a double A1 rated community. Bob, I sent this to you today, so if you could do a story on this, that would be great. So Mary Ann Maxwell and I, and also Public Finance Marketing, we did a Moody's review during the week, and I'm pleased to report that Moody's has maintained the double A1 rating for the town of Carmel. So we will continue to be a double A1 rated community. The community shows growth in its local economy due to ongoing commercial development within the area. And by the way, the distillery, we spoke about that during the Moody's review. They were very pleased to hear that a large distillery is going to be opening and operating in the Carmel community. And that's going to do a lot for our local economic development and commercial development. So they were pleased to hear that. They were excited to hear that when I told them about it. The town's resident wealth and income levels are strong compared to the state and nation. Overall, its financial position is strong and will remain healthy due to management's ability to manage operations. The debt burden of the town is low and should remain low despite continued capital improvement plans, specifically for its water and sewer infrastructure. The pension liability is average, while the OBEB burden is elevated compared to nationals' medians. So our credit strength is healthy and financially strong. Strong resident wealth and income levels, as I stated. Credit challenges above average. Rating outlook, Moody's typically does not assign outlooks to local government issuers with this amount of debt outstanding. Factors could include significant growth in tax base and resident wealth and income levels. So here's the problem. This is great news. We're a double A1 rated town, which means when we go to borrow money for capital projects, we pay very low interest on our money, which is great news because it all translates into taxpayers' dollars when you're paying back debt service. So this is good news that they've maintained our double A1 rating.
A lot of work out of the controller's
And thank you, Mike. The controller's office does an excellent job, and Capital Market Advisors does a brilliant job advising the town. Here's the issue, and I asked this during the Moody's review to the analyst that was rating us. I said, how do we become, this is important, how do we become a triple A rated town? And you know what they told me? The characteristics that they look at, unfortunately, it's tied to wealth indicators. Even though they stated that, due to the municipalities' overall wealth and income levels, it's not strong enough to become a AAA rated community. They look at wealth per capita and wealth indicators, and unfortunately, we don't meet that. So we're not wealthy enough, basically. The towns that do receive AAA ratings are Scarsdale and other municipalities that have a very strong wealth indicators. And we just don't meet that here in the town of Carmel and Mahopac.
I thought a lot of it also had to do with the size of the budget.
Shouldn't be rated like that, but that's how they do it.
Right, that's how they do it. It's not tied to your finances, your budget, or anything like that. The characteristics are your wealth. And so we're really at a double A1 rating right now is the highest rating that the town can receive from Moody's.
Now, how fortunate is that? So it's great Moody's, right? We're as good as we're going to get. I know when myself and Lupinacci came on board, we had a lower rating. We worked hard on getting that back up. But think about this, Moody's says we don't have enough per capita income to qualify, yet the CFA just told us again recently, we're rejected because we have too much per capita income to qualify.
Right here.
Yeah.
So it's
Right
like
here.
we are,
That's the problem. Therein lies the problem. That's the issue. And I'm just going to read this really quick. All
I think
right?
that was a segue
This
for
is
you
what
there, huh?
Jonathan is talking about. All right, it's a good segue, Jonathan. Thank you.
This was
All
not
right?
planned.
Good afternoon. Application 93107 was found ineligible. This is a grant application through the CFA application for Carmel Sewer District Number 5. This is sad. All right? Was found ineligible for engineering planning grant because the town of Carmel's median household income, MHI, exceeds the median household income requirements for the grant. Equal to or less than 90,000 according to the United States Census 2017 American Community Survey for municipalities located in the REDC regions of Long Island, New York City, and Mid-Hudson. We're in the Mid-Hudson. So we weren't considered for this grant because the Carmel's median household income exceeds the MHI requirements for the grant.
but we have multiple grant applications that are in there. It's not like it's just this one. Unfortunately, we received a lot of reject notices.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot
doing
to
what we
say,
can.
you got, you
Yeah.
finished your thing?
Yep, we're finished, Mike.
One
Yep.
thing I forgot to say, the papers I put up here, are all the correspondence from the DEP, DEC, DOT, and any other numbers, letters you want to put together. They're in my office, they're available for viewing for anybody except him. Okay? Thank you.
Motion to move to executive session?
Yes.
For a personnel matter.
Yes, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.